What's going on, everybody? It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Today is Thursday, June 26th. Hope you're doing awesome. And in this video, we're going to be discussing Jones Soda Co. and the Mary Jones brand. They're going to be retaining their HD9 products. They came out with an article today to clarify that, and that had to do with the divestiture of their MJ-derived products. So they're going to be focusing and honing in on that hemp HD9, which has seen growth. So we'll discuss all of that and more. We'll take a look at the JSDA stock price chart as well. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on the technicals and the price action in the days, weeks, months ahead. Spoiler alert, it's not looking too good in terms of the technicals. But again, before we get to it, make sure to smash the like, help support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, you'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. And as always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. You can follow us over on X as well, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. So Jones Soda reiterates its focus on hemp-derived HD9 psychoactive component market in connection with its recent divestiture of its MJ-derived psychoactive component product lines. So the company would like to clarify that in connection with the previously announced divestiture of the company's MJ-derived psychoactive component business, that the company has retained and continues to focus on its fast-growing hemp-derived psychoactive component product HD9 line. And if you're wondering why I don't say that, it's because the YouTube algorithm doesn't like it, and we want to get the video to as many people as possible so everybody's informed. This includes the Mary Jones sodas, shooters, and gummies, which you can see here in this picture, and which have seen 4 consecutive quarters of sales revenue growth through the first quarter of 2025. Although we made the strategic decision to sell our MJ-derived the psychoactive component business, almost said it, we are excited about the opportunity to increase our focus and continue to expand our distribution of our Mary Jones HD9 products, which have been some of the fastest growing product categories, stated Scott Harvey, Jones Soda President and CEO. Another really fast growing segment in the market these days has been the non-alcoholic segment as well. But yeah, HD9 and just overall MJ infused beverages have been absolutely exploding. I believe the divestiture of our MJ-derived business will enable us to sharpen our strategic priorities and accelerate investment in our core soda, functional beverage, and adult beverage categories, including our hemp-infused segment, continued Mr. Harvey. This is a segment where, I think there's a typo here. This is a segment we were already, this is a segment where yeah, they missed an H there, where we already have significant retail distribution and strong distributor networks comprised of over 26 of the top DSD distributors in the country, and that's direct store distributors. So this is overall a positive thing, I think. And again, I've been saying for a while now that Jones Soda is probably going to be an acquisition target. They'd be great for an MJ company to come in and swoop in and buy them up. I've said for a while now that I thought it would be Tilray. We know that Jones Soda and Tilray partnered to bring the Mary Jones MJ drinks to Canada. This was back on February 8th, 2024. And I recently interviewed the CEO of Tilray, Irwin Simon, and I discussed that, and he said that it's been great. They started with Ontario. They were looking at British Columbia after that. But he said there's been a lot of great feedback from it. And I mentioned, could this potentially be an acquisition target? And he said no comment. So we'll see what happens. Would love to have Jones Soda on as well. So I'll see what I can do. I'll probably reach out directly to the company and see if I can get Scott Harvey, the CEO of Jones Soda, on just to have an interview, ask him some questions, and see where he expects the market to go. And like I said, if they'd be open to any kind of acquisition in the future. But yeah, I think this would be a great partnership. And yeah, overall, I think there's a lot of opportunity here, obviously, with this HD9 product line and the whole market. It's on the up and up, and they continue to be honed in on that. So yeah, we'll see what happens. There's a lot of competition right now in the US, but some of these, like Green Apple Hemp Infused, these look fantastic. You can see directly on the Mary Jones website. You can hit the shop, drinks, shooters, gummies. So you've got it all here. But great branding, right? That's something that we know that they're well known for. And I think if a company were to come in and acquire them, they would more than likely have to pay a pretty penny to do it. There would more than likely be a pretty decent premium, just based on the fact that they've had tons of growth. But in terms of the stock price, it hasn't been pretty here on JSDA on the OTC. You can see here we had a Head and Shoulders, we had an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross, We had a weekly downtrend confirm as well, and now we have a descending triangle on deck. And the reason why we were so confident in the price potentially heading to weekly oversold as well and seeing this downside here was because of the confluence, right? When you're looking at a chart and you see a head and shoulders and you say, oh, that's bearish. Well, if you couple that with other patterns, other indicators, other signals, the more data you have, the more confident you are in a particular direction. So, for example, if this was just a head and shoulders and we didn't confirm a weekly downtrend and we didn't see a weekly EMA 12 and 26 bear cross lining up, well, we wouldn't be as confident. But the fact that we had a head and shoulders, a weekly downtrend, an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross, we were weekly overbought, more than likely due for a pretty sizable pullback at that point, right? And then from the local top to the local low, it was down about 75%. Kind of reminds you of an MJ stock, and that would make sense because they're in the MJ business now. So anything that essentially touches MJ is down, somewhere between 70 to 90%, maybe more. But right now there's a descending triangle forming, and it's a little bit more clear too on the 2-day time frame. But as you can see, this is a bearish continuation pattern. Typically they break to the downside. You have a series of lower highs and a horizontal line of support. And if this were to break down, that'd be putting us down around 8 cents. So from current levels, if we were to confirm that, that would be about a downside of another 50%, a little over 50% from here. So it's not looking too good, unfortunately. A lot of MJ is still struggling at the moment. We had a little bit of green today in the market. If we just take a look at the MJ space as a whole, mostly it was Canadian LPs today. But NEVI, Oxley, ACB, VFF, but as you can see, it was all Canadian names pretty much for the most part, minus NEVI, OGI, Tilray, High Tide, so SNDL. But we'll see what happens here. Like I said, I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, I don't have a crystal ball, but I would say that they're more than likely going to be an acquisition target. And it's kind of interesting that they divested their MJ-derived products. Could there be some sort of merger or acquisition lining up with another MJ company? That might make sense. So curious to hear what everybody else has to say, your thoughts and opinions. Always love hearing from the community as well. But yeah, we're not looking good at all. We had a bearish triple thunder crossover, which is a close below the 10-week moving average. And the stochastic and the MACD on the weekly saw a bear cross. So that's not what we want to see. Very bearish. And again, couple that with the weekly downtrend, head and shoulders, EMA 12 and 26 bear cross. After being weekly overbought, we knew to be expecting quite a bit of downside. We also had a bear cross of the 50 and the 200 weekly moving average. Saw tons of downside. Now we're back below all of those weekly moving averages. So it's not looking good. Daily time frame, we had a death cross as well, back below all of our daily moving averages. We could see a golden cross, but it's still quite a ways away before we see that happen yet. At least a couple of weeks, I would think, before we see that. But yeah, stock has been absolutely decimated, just like most other MJ stocks. But I think, after we get, if you kind of look at the S&P 500 back at all-time highs, it's a weekly bull flag as well, targeting around 660. That should be decent tailwinds for the MJ space. But again, MJ is just not popular. If you look at the names that continue to be very popular in the market right now, it's big tech, crypto, blockchain, AI. And after that, once those enter bear markets, I think the MJ industry will be a big beneficiary of that. But also, what have we been noticing in the US as well? Right now, the main focus has been crypto legislation. So once they get crypto, blockchain, stablecoin legislation, whatever you want to call it, market structure bill, all that stuff, which they've already passed the Genius Act in the Senate, it's on the way to the House, and then it's pretty much a virtual certainty that's going to be approved by the president, then they're looking to get market structure bill done by September. Well, it would make sense that they focus and pivot on, potentially safer banking before the midterms in 2026, rescheduling, which they said they wanted to move forward on that soon, and just the seasonality effect of the sector as well, right? Typically into the fall, the MJ sector does quite well in terms of performance and stock prices. So if we couple that with, crypto legislation being done, well, it would make sense that they would focus and pivot and look at the MJ space, and then especially leading into 2026 into the midterms, it'll be low-hanging fruit. It's gonna be something that they'll want to follow through on. One of their campaign promises made, promises kept, has been the theme. And again, it's a very popular opinion among Americans, so it makes sense they would want to get something done and then just kind of say we did that, right, and kind of gain the not investor confidence, but voter confidence ahead of the midterms. And like I said, want to get some sort of safer banking. That's a priority as well ahead of the midterms. So I'm very hopeful that leading into the end of the year, after they get crypto legislation out of the way, I think MJ will take front and center stage, and it'll be in the spotlight, and then leading into the first part of 2026 as well, before the midterms. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on this. Always love hearing from you. It's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth. Enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll catch you on the next update.